Hey guys, welcome to TST Garage. I'm Bart, and in this episode, I have a 2024 and up Kawasaki Ninja ZX-6R in the shop with me. This happens to be a motorcycle. Motorcycles have two wheels, 2 points of contact. Should you lose balance or be knocked off the bike, that bike is going down and there's going to be some massive carnage here. Now, how do we mitigate the cost of this damage or the amount of it? We typically use some fancy crash protection components like you see on this bike. We have our frame sliders, bar ends, fork slider, and swing arm spools. Those elements, when mounted all together on the bike, they do help mitigate the cost of a crash. Now, will they save all your plastics? Will they save a lot of the exhaust components, controls? That really depends on the type of crash. No two crashes are the same. I've crashed bikes at 5 miles an hour doing dumb stuff, and I've crashed bikes at 130 miles an hour racing. Each crash was different, but the one thing that was common was the frame sliders, fork slider, and a couple of the other elements really did help save the motor cases, the bottom of my fork, my brake rotor, lip of my rim, a lot of the components here. When you take the impact of a crash here on a bar end that has Delrin in it, it will take up some of that crash energy and not propagate it upstream. Those are the ways in which we protect our investment in a bike. If you crash fast enough, you start spinning the bike, it goes end over end, chances are a lot of this stuff is going to be thrashed. I have done that. I have thrown an R1 down the track at Daytona at 130 miles an hour, and the result was carnage to the controls, the forks, and the plastics. The rest of it was amazingly fine. So the frame sliders really did their job. The fork slider did its job. I did have some swing arm spools that took the brunt of the impact from that crash and then sheared off, so the rear end of my bike was not as rashed up. I do stand behind these components, and now I'm going to tell you a little bit about each one and how it contributes to the total protection of this bike and why we've included it in the total protection pack that we sell for this bike. Let's start with the fork sliders. They are Delrin pucks that attach to the outer portion of your fork bottom. They are tied together with an aluminum tie rod going through the middle and use a stainless steel screw to hold it all together. Beyond that, there are features machined into the Delrin that help it lock into the fork. So it's not only relying on the strength of that tie rod, because that could be sheared off pretty easily, it actually does sit and locate into the fork geometry a little bit better than just the hole through. They are very easy to install. We do have a separate video showing you how to do that. Let's move on to the bar ends now. As I mentioned already, our bar ends do feature a Delrin end. Delrin does take up some of the crash energy and takes it up before it gets propagated upstream, so it helps to protect all of the upstream components from the impact forces. The Delrin does mount to a CNC machined aluminum base, and in the case of our systems, we do sell different colored rings that help you customize the look for your bike. On this particular bike, we felt that the red went nicely with the theme, but we do have black, which is the standard color these show up with, and then you have the choice of buying either red, blue, gold, several different colors. You can check that out at tstindustries.com. Now let's move on to here. This is the most robust component in our crash protection kit. It is our frame slider kit. As always, we do use the Delrin material so that it does take up as much of the crash energy as possible before it gets propagated upstream. The puck itself is machined in a way that should you go down, the contact surface is at an angle. It is meant to take as much of the energy of that crash and disperse it among a really large surface area. And that will increase the likelihood of this entire side surviving and not grenading itself. So you go down on pavement, this thing is sliding, no big deal. You run off pavement and you hit dirt, typically with cylindrical components that digs into the ground and either just tweaks and launches the bike end over end. This will reduce the likelihood of that happening and just basically present like a ski surface area to just skate along the ground and help protect the bike. Let's move on back here to the spools. We do have our aluminum spools mounted here. We do offer aluminum or Delrin spools. The choice is yours. The Delrin ones are slightly larger. They do protrude a little bit longer. They do take up some of that energy, a little bit better than the spools, but spools will also prevent some of this other componentry here from contacting the ground in the event of a crash. But on the right side, as you can see, we do have the exhaust in the way, so chances are it'll hit first, and that will just protect the rest of the components here. All these kits are very easy to mount on the bike. We do have separate videos showing you how to install them, and they are available as standalone units. So if you already have frame sliders and you just want to pick up something else, that's cool. But here we think that the total protection comes from all of the components mounted together, and this is why we do the discount bundle total protection pack. You can find that at tstindustries.com. Hopefully we'll see you there. Besides that, I hope you ride safe. Check out our other videos. Give me a like, subscribe. I like comments too. I like conversing with you guys, so I'm looking forward to those. See you later. Peace.